The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
My name is David Ledoux. I am the coordinator and professor of theater at Bristol Community College. Well, it's not a part of STEM, but it's a part of STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, mathematics. Theater is an art form, and so fit into that category. It's a useful tool. We want to maximize the usefulness of everything we have at our disposal. Then yes, I think it is necessary. You know, the arts provide a way of teaching and a way of learning and a way of engaging with the world that nothing else can quite get at in the same way. From my point of view as a theater teacher, theater is very unique in that we're really learning about person-to-person human connection, the stories that make us who we are, our identities, how our societies and our relationships to each other are constructed. This is all, you can think about that externally. Theater, studying theater and doing theater gives you a way to really experience that. And the experience of exploring who we are as human beings, necessary for our society. It's all one thing, engaged in trying to move society forward. And science is a very useful tool, obviously. Technology and engineering, building the world, math as the language of the universe, how we make sense of the physical properties and quantify it. So these are all vital in building a world around us, but then how do you teach the value of abstraction, solving problems that math has a difficult time getting at? Like, what's the math of falling in love? What is the exact algorithm that can decide what justice looks like? How do you define and construct a sense of self and identity from an engineering standpoint? How do we run a scientific experiment that can get us to be the best moral, ethical citizen? Things, you know, we can get at elements of these things through science and math and engineering, and technology can help us. These are all tools, but the arts, the full, deep exploration of what makes us human, we need the arts to be asking questions and to be exploring the dark areas that science and math can't quite shine a light on. Maybe someday we'll be able to figure out those answers. Maybe AI will, you know, show us the way. But as of right now, I think we still need human beings with a creative capacity to create art that can help move us forward along with science and technology and math and engineering. Well, no, I don't. I don't think art should be cut from the budget. Philosophically, just in it's a very broad, general question. I mean, what budget are we talking about? Are we talking about a governmental budget? We're talking about the budget for a school, for a town. You know, there are difficult decisions that need to be made when you're talking about budgets, and not all budgets are equal. Not all intentions of what you're going to do with the budgets are equal. You know, we live in a culture that places a hierarchy on things that we learn in schools, and places a hierarchy is most important in society. And as I said previously, the arts really important in exploring what makes us human beings, asking questions, wrestling with ethical, abstract issues from an experiential point of view. You can write an essay that treats morality with mathematical, logical precision. You can have an AI spit out an answer to a question that will have mathematical, precision and logic. A painting, a sculpture, a poem, a story, a play, a film can capture something that is more than the sum of its parts. We need the arts for that. The fact that the arts stimulate the economy, if you look at neighborhoods, cities, areas that are experiencing a revitalization, it's usually the arts that are at the center of that revitalization. You're a small business owner and you're in Providence, for example, in the 1980s, but you're begging and pleading, please let there be more arts funding happening. There was a resurgence of art. There was a renaissance of art and theater in the 90s in Providence. Now Providence is the city that's up and coming, and there's restaurants and there's lots of businesses there's lots of new construction projects. The arts, Trinity Rep, AS220, small theater companies and galleries, RISD is a huge part of the identity of that city, and there are other cities just like that. And one last point, when COVID hit, we all experienced what life was like at its most basic, raw, bare bones level. Thank God we have technology in order to get me to work from home. Zoom, great, and I'm able to make my money, I'm able to budget appropriately, I have a place to live, great, I can make food, I can survive. And it was pretty bleak when we were just concerned with survival. What were people doing? People were turning to Netflix, they were to stories, reading, streaming, they were turning to the arts to illuminate their lives in some way. So when you look at the raw data of the budget, the raw data of what our lives are made out of, it seems like, it's easy to say, well, these are the most important things, no nonsense. But really our lives aren't really made out of the no nonsense raw data. Our lives are made out of a much richer tapestry of material, and that's where the arts live. I think artists, we have done ourselves a disservice by speaking about the arts in apologetic ways and in ways that keep it mysterious. We don't want people to see behind the curtains, to see how the sausage is made. We don't want people to really get what we do. We want to be these mysterious, talented, special, chosen few. We don't want people to see that really talent plays a relatively small part in it. Talent is really uninspiring. It's hard work and it requires an education. There's craft involved. You have to learn how to create the art in a significant way. The talent might get you to show up. It might open a certain door, get your foot in the door. It might be an entry point, but really it's education and hard work and dedication. I think artists, we also sometimes do ourselves a disservice talking about the arts in abstract ways. We have to also talk about the nuts and bolts of like how it affects the economy, how it affects a democracy. How are the arts, theater in particular, how are these connected to creating a healthy culture where conversation can happen? We have really looked down on the arts in this country. I don't think it is unrelated that we have a culture that both looks down on the arts as something unnecessary and a culture where we literally can't talk to each other about anything significant without yelling at each other and hating the other. So I think the arts and culture are hugely important in our identity of who we are and how we move forward. And that needs to be reflected in budgets, education budgets, budgets for giving money to, arts organizations and grants and that kind of thing.